I don't need a wheelchair, like I am fine. Just feels like I've had a heavy day in the bedroom, which is exactly what I've had.
Bonnie Blue really thought she was about to make history, huh? She really thought she was about to change the game, redefine the industry, and put herself in the Hall of Fame for adult entertainment. But instead, she ended up getting clowned, humiliated, and ultimately banned. And the best part, the internet is having an absolute field day with it. People are roasting her so bad you'd think she just lost the Super Bowl by fumbling the ball in the last 5 seconds. Let's be real here, 1,000 men in 12 hours. The numbers alone sound insane. Like, that's a whole new man every 40 seconds. Do you realize how fast that is? You can't even order a coffee at Starbucks that quickly. This wasn't an intimate experience. This was an assembly line, a speed run, a Guinness World Record attempt that nobody asked for. And for what? To make a few headlines? To sell an overpriced subscription to the most exhausting video of all time? To get an achievement unlocked badge in the adult industry? Because, let's be honest, there is nothing pleasurable about a situation where people are being rotated out like a fast food drive-thru.
A month here in the United States, and one of the things you did, slept with 1,000 men, but also barely legal, 18 years old.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And yet, despite how utterly ridiculous this whole situation sounds, Bonnie Blue is dead serious about it. She wasn't joking, she wasn't trolling, she really, truly thought this was about to be her biggest career move yet. In her mind, this was going to be the ultimate payday. The video would sell like hotcakes, subscriptions would skyrocket, and she'd be laughing all the way to the bank. Except, oh wait, OnlyFans yanked it before she could make a single dime. And honestly, the internet is thriving off of her downfall. Twitter, or X, or whatever we're calling it now, is absolutely eating her up. People are dropping one-liners left and right, with classics like all that work for nothing and what an anticlimax. Someone even straight up said, "I don't believe it happened unless I see proof," which, to be fair, is a wild thing to demand. But at this point, Bonnie's entire legacy is being questioned. Because let's talk logistics for a second. 1,000 men in 12 hours? The math is mathing, and it's telling me this was a physically impossible mission. This wasn't a standard filming session. This was a military-level operation. Did they have shifts? Was there an organized lineup? Did they have refreshments? A waiting room? Was there a referee with a whistle? Did each guy get a pre-game pep talk? And apparently, there actually was a line, like a full-fledged queue of men just waiting their turn, like they were about to ride a roller coaster at Disneyland. And you know something is wrong when even the participants start backing out.
You had a mother interrupt you with her son in one of your sessions. Tell us about that.
So the son actually turned up to the event with his mum. And the son was queuing for hours just with everybody else. We offered his mum drinks and snacks. I don't think she fully understood what the event was.
Right.
Like, she was aware there was this massive queue of men. They kept going into this room and then they was coming out without their clothes. But she wasn't adding it up. And it wasn't until her son Joseph went into the room, I think she worked out what was going off. So lucky for me, I was able to take his son's virginity. And then she starts banging on the door saying like, "Joseph, get your coat. Like, Joseph, like, you need to leave." But yeah, luckily he had an amazing experience. And as he was being escorted out by his mom, he's like, "I'll come back later."
Enter Ali Walker, an unemployed security guard. Why do we even know that detail? Who allegedly stood in line, was ready to take his turn, but then decided, you know what? This ain't for me. Sir, you got that far just to get cold feet? What were you expecting? A candlelit dinner? A personalized experience? This was not an OnlyFans meet and greet, my guy. And then there's the biggest issue of all. Where the hell is the footage? This whole stunt was supposed to be Bonnie Blue's golden ticket to financial success, but now the entire video is just gone. Vanished. Yeeted off OnlyFans, completely scrubbed from the internet. And even the behind-the-scenes footage, the supposed proof that this whole thing really happened, has disappeared. At this point, it's starting to feel like an urban legend, which, by the way, only fuels the conspiracy theories. People are out here genuinely debating whether this event even happened in the first place. Because think about it. Not a single person has seen this so-called record-breaking video. All we have are Bonnie's claims and some extremely questionable details that make the whole thing sound more like a bad fever dream than a real-life event. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this whole thing was just one giant rage bait stunt to get people talking about her. Because let's be real, Bonnie Blue is no stranger to controversy. This is the same woman who got banned from Australia after her schoolies stunt went viral. She lives for this kind of chaos. She needs it. Without controversy, who is Bonnie Blue? Just another OnlyFans model trying to compete with millions of others. So maybe, just maybe, she cooked up this ridiculous, disgusting, logistically impossible event just to make headlines, knowing full well the video would never actually see the light of day. But let's just pretend for a second that it did happen. Even if it's real, the reaction has been brutal. The backlash is insane. Even in an industry where nothing seems shocking anymore, this crossed a line for people. The word disgusting has been thrown around so many times. You'd think she committed an actual war crime. People aren't just laughing at her failure, they're genuinely repulsed by the entire concept.
And so for those who say you're going too far and now we're concerned about your safety, how do you make sure that person doesn't give you any STDs or communicable diseases?
Yeah, well, I get tested on a regular basis. I've been tested twice since the event. And also, I've had subscribers that was at the event send me their test results afterwards, which have come back all clear.
Let's be real for a second. When does something stop being just outrageous and start becoming genuinely disturbing? The adult industry has always been about pushing boundaries, breaking taboos, and making people raise their eyebrows. But this wasn't just another scandal. This wasn't some risque photo shoot that got people talking. This was something out of a dystopian horror novel. Think about it. 1,000 men, an assembly line of human beings, all for the sake of a fleeting record that, at best, would be a shock factor in a niche corner of the internet. The logistics alone sound inhumane. How do you even organize something like this? Was there a check-in booth? A clipboard with assigned numbers? Did they have someone yelling, "Next," every few seconds? Because that's exactly what it sounds like. A human conveyor belt. And that's not entertainment. That's industrial-level degradation. At this point, the question isn't even why anymore. It's how did she even think this was a good idea? Did Bonnie Blue really sit down one day and say, "You know what would make me a legend? If I broke the most unsettling record of all time?" Like, who was this supposed to impress? This isn't a testament to endurance. This isn't some kind of feminist empowerment move. This is dehumanization at its finest. And the worst part, she didn't even get paid for it. Seriously, what was the end game here? Did Bonnie Blue imagine this would be some kind of badge of honor? That she'd be praised for her dedication to the craft? Because nobody is throwing her a parade. If anything, the only people talking about this are the ones clowning on her, dragging her name through the dirt and turning her into a walking meme. And let's be clear, this isn't just a loss. This isn't one of those, "Oh, well, maybe she'll bounce back" kind of L's. This is the kind of L that ruins careers permanently. The kind that makes people say, "Oh, you mean that chick who did that one nasty stunt? Yeah, what happened to her?" She went from trying to break records to becoming the punchline of an internet joke. Because as of right now, she's the biggest joke on the internet.